season, we have hero improvements. We're talking Lawbringer. We're talking about the Raider. Let's get right into it. What are you guys going to present to us first?
Lawbringer, please.
All right, perfect.
Yes.
Selected.
Perfect. Season of the Axe continues, I guess, right?
Yes.
So
versatile weapon becomes more versatile. Is that what we're saying? Is it accurate?
That's exactly the goal, right?
Fantastic.
Be more versatile. So what are Lawbringer's good things and problems right now? On live, shove on block is a huge problem. It allows Lawbringer to be defensive as he wants, but also means that opponents can basically do no offense because you block fairly freely and you stop their actually good attacks, which are usually the second or third in the chain. So that's a problematic thing on the character. Beyond that, Lawbringer can counterattack, so that's really good without parry options. Can transform into Bombbringer eventually during the 4v4, but cannot initiate, cannot sustain combat, and that's what we want to take a look at and try to fix today, or I guess May 2nd.
Yeah. Next week. Nice.
So let's go through the painful part. Shove on block, removed. That's
completely.
it, gone, out.
Okay, why?
Because everybody wants it.
Okay.
Everybody needs it.
All right.
And
okay.
even if you don't understand it, it's like, same with Shigoki, we took away the armor, the special armor, because it stopped all offense in the game. We need the game to be more offense-oriented, so this will help opponents, obviously. So what does Lawbringer get in compensation for this?
Please tell me.
A variety of stuff. Let's start with the new chains. Heavy, heavy, heavy coming. And you see we reach the unblockable finisher as well. That's pretty cool. And we've also got heavy, heavy lights as an option, which is also cool.
All uninterrupted.
That's where it gets a little interesting.
Oh, okay.
So the light attacks now are 500 across the board, except for the top lights, which are 400 on the first and second. Boom. And the side lights are all 500, and the side lights are not interrupted on block. So then you
can really sustain offense this way.
Exactly. The idea being once you start attacking, you can continue it. You can get maybe your second hit in, and they have to block. If they block, you get to your unblockable finisher.
I'm trying to take as many notes as possible because my performances showed I don't know much, right? So just trying to learn here.
We got a whole season to practice, so that's good. What's important? There are a bunch of arcane routes to get to the finisher. Sometimes you get unblockable depending how you got there. Sometimes you wouldn't, depending how you got there. We want that to be the big goal of the character. That's why the side lights are not interrupted on block. That's why the top light is pretty quick. All that kind of stuff. So that's what's going on there. Swift Justice finisher. Let's jump around the character a little bit. After any top heavy finisher, or do you want to parry? Or
top heavy finisher, right?
Yeah. Light. Perfect. So you get that there now, which is pretty cool. Other switch, long arm and impale, impaling charge or parry impale. These can both be interrupted by players in the same way that Shigoki's Demon Embrace or Highlander Caber Toss can be interrupted by players. This is an important thing. We've seen this with those characters be very successful in that the ganking is still effective with Shigoki or Shaman or something like that. But it's a little bit less annoying than it is on live right now, where an impale or something like that or a long arm basically guarantees death as all of your teammates hit this victim and they can't do anything, you just die. So here it at least means there's a little more skill involved in that. So that's really cool. I think shove. Shove. Live Lawbringer used to have a weird mix-up where, like, you could throw a light and they couldn't block it, but you could dodge, but the guard break would catch you, so it was this weird, like, thing. It wasn't that good either. So now we're trying to give shove a regular bump reaction, which means that you get the light after it. It is counted as your second light in the chain, so you're seeing him do shove, light, and he can get to his heavy unblockable finisher, which is kind of now the game plan on the offensive side for Lawbringer.
And so when you're bringing these changes to a character, how difficult is it to kind of make sure that you're keeping the identity of the character itself?
So we think that's critical. I mean, like, that's why we talked about at the beginning, like, We think of Lawbringer as a defensive powerhouse. Obviously, I mean, shove and block was the epitome of that, but the parry counters are really the star of the character. The bombbringer aspect, we keep that, of course, but you see the bit of the attempt to have a mix-up on live, and now we're trying to get that stuff working. So it's really keep the special core of the character, and then bring those aspects that are lacking a little bit. We can maybe talk a little bit, since we're talking about the core of the character, the parry changes. Sorry, we're just going to jump ahead. Francis is going to have to randomly jump all over the place. I'm going to do heavy, and he's going to parry it. Light is still good. Top heavy unblockable against the light is guaranteed, and you get the light riposte or light extra hit after that. And the new fun stuff. Make way is now super armored unblockable.
Is that just after the parry, or is that always?
That one's just after the parry.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool, and should help with what Lawbringer really wants is that I get my parries and I can do something cool. And in a group fight, when people are trying to mess you up, you can actually be, okay, I parried this guy. I'm not as vulnerable as I used to be against a mess of people. So that's pretty cool.
Do you see his role within like a team or anything evolve, or does it stay relatively similar? I know you talked about keeping the identity of the character, so I would assume that you maybe want to keep that.
I think it's going to be fairly similar. You're still going to want to try to gank with a long arm and the occasional impale. I think if you end up getting that parry in your fight, you're going to be able to go, okay, I hit. The light, oh, I'm sorry, parry light goes to your second light. So you can continue the chain. I'll throw a heavy for you. You can.
The which one?
Light. Yep. So parry.
Excellent execution, by the way.
Thank you.
Light riposte can go to your second light in the chain before it could only go to second heavy in the chain and the first light in the chain. This helps you get a little further into the chain to get to that finisher, of course. Let's jump back to shove real quick because there's some stuff different on that. Shove in the chain now has armor, is now 500 MS. What else does it have? It gives you the free lights, and it can be done after any heavy, on hit, on miss, or on block. And here you see miss, and you got to shove. And you can do it on block, whatever you want. So you can be a bit more creative in what are you going to throw, and really we want to see Lawbringers go, okay, I got a hit, let's throw a second attack of some kind and keep it going.
So as opposed to before where you felt that the character was lacking that opportunity to do something, it was just more standing back, blocking, that was it?
Definitely,
Okay.
Definitely yes. You would get your one free hit from whatever punish, and then you stop.
Okay.
But now we want Lawbringers to keep going through. Is that the long and short of Lawbringer?
Yep.
Cool.
And obviously we're going to have the patch notes ready to go next week where you guys will be able to revisit all of these details. We can head in right into the Raider, who's also gotten some love for this season, correct?
Let's do it.
So he's been getting demolished, but now it's his turn to demolish the Lawbringer. So
Yeah.
let's take a look.
Swapperoonie. So why do we pick Raider? What do we want to do on Raider? Kind of some similar stuff. Raider has some difficulty initiating, let's say. Has difficulty sustaining combat. Can counterattack with dodge guard break, for example. Can do out of stamina bullying with showing you Raider's Fury, sometimes fainting it, pouring you back into the wall, and can gank in group fights and so on, right? That's what Raider's doing right now. Again, we want to see the initiation be improved, and again, we want to see the ability to go through the chain and make some choices about why do you go through the chain rather than always going to Raider's Fury. So that's roughly it. So how do we get there? We improve the chains. We had 3 on the Raider, so we're going to see light, heavy. Cool. We're going to see light, heavy. And finally, we're going to see heavy, light. And you might be noticing that all the lights in the chain are 500 MS. So that's pretty cool. You can use them as opposed to the 6 and 700 and 10,000. I don't even know. It's so long. It's been a long time since I've seen a Raider.
Oh,
Like,
there you go.
so.
And so for the below average player like myself, what difference does this make in terms of
I would say honestly very little. Watching your gameplay, you're getting hit by all kinds of stuff. So I think a 500 MS versus 600 MS is not going to matter.
You know, I thought I had one ally in this, and I was wrong. But please continue. Please.
It's free, right? Heavy attacks. We also saw second heavy in the chains and the third heavy get super armor. This is really important for us because before you would always do Raider's Fury. What's better than an unblockable versus a normal? Nothing, right? So at least now you get to make a choice of, okay, I will want to trade with my super armor, and you have a real choice between Raider's Fury and continuing your chain through heavies. So that's pretty cool. Heavies also get a big buff. All heavies through the character, including the zones, can be fainted to Garbrick. So soft fainted to Garbrick, you see there?
That got me a couple of times.
Yeah. I watched Alex use it quite a bit, so that was pretty cool. And what else? The stunning tap can also is always now 500 MS. It used to be 600 MS.
That one is a pain. That one is a real pain.
Look at Francis go.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's
Is
all
this
coming
stamina
flashing
timing?
back
Yeah,
right
okay.
now.
It's good. And the variable timing is also a thing. Yes, thank you. So you can switch up when during your heavy a little bit, will you be able to launch a stunning tap? So I think you have to practice it and touch it to really feel that one. But that'll be next week, so it'll be really cool to try out. So yes, hopefully everything is dangerous now. Cool. Zone attack. You might have seen, we also had the problem with two things, like understandability and wanting to have a little more options to how do you launch your Radius Fury. Radius Fury is always from the right. Zone attack was always from the right. Both were 900 MS. There was a big damage differential where we had 28 and 50. We want to keep that aspect of it, but we want you to very clearly understand it's my zone attack, which is now called Raiders Storm, and that will be from the left, and that's your from neutral zone attack, whereas Raiders Fury will stay from the right, stay 50 damage, and so on. The big benefits you get are the opponent will understand this is the less damaging one, and this is a crazy damaging one, and you will understand, you'll have the ability to say, okay, from neutral, I'll be able to hit these guys, and if I'm chaining, I'll be able to hit these guys. Just a little more ability to care about your target swapped attacks. So that's super cool. What else? Stampede Charge, thank you, is now interruptible by opponents. Same thing as Lawbringer, same thing as Shigoki Demon Embrace. So it should be a little less annoying in ganks. And yet, we saw in those games, Raider was still able to be effective, and people were able to time things properly. So hope that your teammates are paying attention, and everything will be all right. Do we want to do damage on both characters? I missed it on Lawbringer.
Yeah, may as well go through a little jogging of that.
All right, Raider, here we go. Second side heavy is now 35 damage, was 30. Second top heavy is now 40, was 35. Side light finishers are now 18, were 15. Top light finisher is now 22, was 15. Side heavy finishers are now 40, were 30. Top heavy finisher is now 48, was 30. And sprint attack, aka reaping charge, is now 35, and gets blocked, was 25.
I didn't even notice that you were doing all of the moves as the cheese.
He's so good.
Next level.
He's like my second half. But yes, with those damage increases, also we can care about, like, hey, there's a real reason to use this instead of Raiders Fury in certain situations. We'll quickly go down Lawbringers. Top light finisher is now 20, was 15.
Do you want to do a quick swap just to showcase the moves again?
Do you want to show it?
If that's worth it. But
okay, cool.
May as well.
Top light finisher is now 20, was 15. Side light finisher is now 18, was 15. Top heavy finisher is now 40, was 35. And side heavy finishers are now 38, were 30. So get out there and crush a few noobs.
So much more versatile.
Yes.
So much more.
Ultra versatile.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Well, thank you guys for your time. If we could just turn
to the next segment is stance change 100 MS.
Okay, so this is on. This is not necessarily on the Raider and the Lawbringer?
That's correct. That's on all static guard heroes, so not the assassins, not Shaolin. But everyone else, Lawbringer, Raider, Warden, whoever, can now switch stance and then launch an attack at 100 MS.
Okay, cool.
Before it used to be 300 MS, so you go like over, wait, and then attack. Now you can just go over and attack.
Okay, nice.
So-
Is there a specific reason why you guys felt the need to change that specifically?
Yeah, you want to be able to throw an attack from the three sides. It's really weird to be a three stance, like trying to threaten from three stances, but these guys cannot. Assassins could, and now everybody can.
Okay, well, awesome. Well,